Welcome, everyone, to the National Women's Caucus's Women at the Front Lines, Climate Justice, Conflict, and Peace Building. We're very fortunate to have 5 global green women here to speak today. One of them actually is here in person. I will give a brief bio for each woman before they speak. And if there is time at the end, we will do questions and answering. We start today with Dr. Marie Therese Self, who is a member of the political board of the Green Party of Lebanon, where she's champions a green political vision rooted in ecological responsibility, social justice, transparency, and inclusive decision-making. Within the party, she works to advocate climate resilience, renewable energy, sustainable cities, and biodiversity protection, while placing gender equality at the heart of the environmental policy and governance. She also serves as UNEP's regional facilitator for major groups and stakeholders for the West Asia region, representing civil society perspectives in UNEP regional processes and strengthening dialogue between stakeholders, governments, and environmental actors. A committed advocate for women's leadership, Marie Therese is gender focal point for the Arab region, within and across Arab civil society. She's a member of the UNEP Women's Major Group and an IPEN Women's Caucus, and was elected to the G100 Global Network of Women Leaders representing the environment, climate change, biodiversity, and oceans sector. A Lebanese architect with a PhD in forestry engineering and sustainable development, and president of the Human Environmental Associations of Development. Marie Therese continues to bridge green policies, environmental governments, and women's leadership, building a more just, sustainable, and gender equal Lebanon and Arab regions. I am proud to present Dr. Marie Therese Shea.
Thank you so much, Jacqui. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, to be here. Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor to join you today as a representative of Green Party of Lebanon. And we'd like to sincerely thank the Women's Caucus of the Green Party of America for this opportunity to exchange experiences and strengthening the solidarity that unites green women across the world. Although we come from different countries, culture, and political context, we share the same vision, a world built on ecological wisdom, social justice, no violence, grassroots democracy, gender equality, and respect for human rights. These are not only political principles, they are values that guide our actions and our responsibility toward the future generation. Today, I would like to speak about women at the front line of climate change, conflict, and peace building, and I would like to share the experience of Lebanon, where environmental destruction and the human suffering have become deeply connected. In many parts of the world, climate change and armed conflict are no longer separate crises. They reinforce each other increasing displacement, poverty, food insecurity, environmental degradation, and inequality. As a Lebanese woman and as an environmental advocate, I have witnessed how conflict leaves scars not only on people, but also on nature. In South Lebanon, Joanna, can you put please some pictures from the South Lebanon? In South Lebanon, years of conflict have created a humanitarian and environmental crisis. In South Lebanon, years of conflict have created a humanitarian and environmental crisis. During the recent escalation, hundreds of thousands of people were forced to flee their homes, particularly from border villages, leaving behind their lands, farm, communities, and livelihood. Families who had lived for generations from agriculture and the land suddenly became displaced. Women, children, older persons, and vulnerable communities carrying the heaviest burden of this displacement. The destruction was not limited to homes and infrastructure. Entire village suffered severe damage, like you see in the second or third pictures. Homes, schools, agriculture area, road, and essential services were destroyed, creating enormous challenges for community trying to return and rebuild. But there is another dimension of war that receives less attention, the destruction of the environment, like you see in the second pictures and in the fourth pictures. Conflict does not only destroy building, it damages the foundation of life itself: soil, water, forest, biodiversity, and ecosystem. In South Lebanon, agriculture land, olive groves, forests, and natural habitats have been severely affected. Fires and military activities have damages thousands of hectares of land and treating ecosystem that took decades to develop. The use of incendiary weapons and toxic material has created additional environmental concern. International human rights organizations have documented the use of white phosphor munition in southern Lebanon. In the fourth picture, have documented the use of white phosphoric munition in southern Lebanon and raised concern about their impact on civilian agriculture and the environment. White phosphorus can ignite fires, burn vegetation, damage agriculture land, and create risks that continue beyond the period of active conflict. For farmers, environmental damage is not a loss of income. It is a threat of their connection with their land, their food security, and their future, and the future of her kids and generation. The consequences of environmental destruction continue long after fighting stops. Polluted land and water resources, damaged ecosystem, and loss of biodiversity affect public health, livelihood, and the ability of communities to recover. This is why rebuilding after conflict can not only mean rebuilding houses. It must also mean restoring nature. It must include environmental assessment, rehabilitation of damaged ecosystem, support for farmers, protection of biodiversity, and accountability for environmental harm. And at the center of this recovery process must be the woman. Women often carry the greatest burden during crisis. They care for their families. When resources become scarce, they find ways to secure food and clean water, They support displacement communities, protect children, and maintain social network during the most difficult circumstances. But women are far more than victims. Women are environmental defenders, community organizers, farmers, scientists, educators, elected leaders, and peace buildings. Across Lebanon, women are leading environmental initiatives, promoting sustainable agriculture, educating young generation, protecting natural resources, and advocating for climate justice despite political, economic, and social challenges. Their resilience reminds us that real leadership is often found among the community most affected by crisis. The Green Party of Lebanon believes that environmental protection, peace and justice and social justice are inseparable. There can be no sustainable development without peace. There can be no peace where natural resources are destroyed. And there can be no environmental justice without the meaningful participation of women. This is why green politics offer a different vision for the future. We believe that protection nature means protection human dignity. We believe that democracy must include women as equal decision makers. We believe that economic development must respect the limit of our planet. And we believe that no violence is not only the absence of war, it is the presence of justice, equality, respect, and cooperation among all people and with nature. Climate change is already multiplying inequality around the world. It is increasing water scarcity, threatening food production, forcing migration, and creating new pressure on communities. Women, especially in vulnerable areas, are often the first to experience this impact, but they are also among the first to create solutions. Therefore, climate policies must be gender responsible. Women must not simply be consulted after decisions are made. They must be equal partners in shaping climate policies, environmental governance, disaster preparedness, and peace negotiation. The experience of women from Lebanon, Palestine, Ukraine, Sudan, and many others regions remind us that environmental peace building is no longer optional, it is essential. A sustainable recovery after conflict requires restoring ecosystem, cleaning contaminated land and water, supporting sustainable agriculture, protecting biodiversity, and ensuring environmental accountability. As a green woman, we also have a responsibility to build the bridge across borders. Climate change does not stop at national boundary. Pollution does not carry a passport. Neither should our solidarity. By working together, sharing knowledge, and supporting one another, we strengthen our communities and the global green movement. Our diversity is our strength, and our shared value are our foundation. Before I conclude, I would like to leave you with one simple message. Women are not standing on the sideline of history. Women are leading change, are protecting forests, are defending water. They are building communities after conflict. They are shaping a climate solution. They are strengthening democracy, and they are building peace. As members of the Green Movement, let us continue working together to ensure that every woman has the opportunity to lead, every community has the right to a healthy environment, and every child can inherit a world where peace, justice, and sustainability are not only aspiration, but reality. From Lebanon to the United States and across every region of the world, let us stand together in solidarity, I hope this meeting marks not only an exchange of ideas, but the beginning of stronger cooperation between the Women Caucus of the Green Party of America and the Green Party of Lebanon. Together, we can amplify women voices, strengthening green leadership, and advance peace, climate justice, and equality across our region. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marie. We are so blessed to have you with us. All right, we are going to move forward now. We're getting a lot of applause on the screen from the people that are watching. They are sending you applause too. We're moving forward now to the next speaker, which is going to be Joanna Jurdi. So if we can pull Joanna up, I'll give you her bio. An architect with a Master of Science in biomimicry?
Biomimic.
What is it?
Biomimic.
Oh, I've never heard of that. I'm sorry. From Arizona State University. Her purpose is creating ecological sustainability, integrated regenerative systems in human design. Graduated from the Lebanese Academy of Fine Arts and worked on diverse projects for over 15 years with multiple disciplinary teams, pushing boundaries and suggesting new possibilities, practicing that word again, biomimicry within architecture opens great depth in how we relate to our environment to ensure a better quality of life, best described by Janine Benyas, creating conditions conductive of life. Joanna.
Thank you, Jacqui. Okay, so conflict is defined by its context. The context is shaped by the history and geography of the region experiencing these profound disturbances. As Dr. Marie-Therese emphasized, it is equally important to recognize the pivotal role women have played throughout history and still embody today. So I'm going to take you with me on a journey, one paved by women leaders from antiquity up till this day. So Lebanon, together with the Fertile Crescent, is the cradle of civilization. It is where agriculture, law, religion, cities, written word, complex social systems first emerged and flourished over centuries and millennia. Many of our cities have existed for more than 5,000 years and are still very much alive and functioning today. So, I often visit ancient sites where there are still temples, especially Ishtar temples, and I'm transported to the spirit of ancient priestesses, sisterhoods, mothers, metaphors, all of those women that created community and that are so attuned to nature. There are the people that we stand on whose shoulders we stand, and they're the ones who connected us with ourselves, our spiritual realm, our nature, and they connected us with ourselves. But then came the era when might is right. So people who are oppressive, people who oppressed, who waged war were the ones who told their stories, and they're the ones who controlled the narrative. And we wonder why women's stories were not being told during all of this time. And so fear became an instrument dominion, and violence was also an instrument that was practiced, and gradually women's voices were silenced. So I'm raising an important question. Why were the stories of women not fully told during history? And what does it really mean to be a leader? And I believe that being a leader is even more complex than what is defined by the traditional systems that we have known. To me, feminism, it goes even beyond gender. It is about equality. It's about ensuring that every person's voice is heard. It's about having inclusive roles within society where everyone's included, everybody plays their role, everybody has their uniqueness. It's about being inclusive. And most of all, it's about embodying the qualities, the true qualities of what is it that is feminine. So it's about embracing vulnerability and diversity, and it's about building through cooperation and mutualism. It's about nurturing, healing, deep presence and attunement to nature, creation, communications, telling stories, weaving communities and resilient systems. And most of all, it's about maintaining our relationship to Mother Earth. So it's not a coincidence that oppression of women and the destruction of nature are going hand in hand. So I want to give the example of nature in order to really fully understand how living systems ought to be, and how our living systems as humans, our governance can resemble nature. So a microbiologist and evolutionary scientist called Lynn Margulis discovered endometriosis, and it's been proven today by observation through advanced technology. Cells, our complex cells, are not composed of material that has been evolving in itself and mutating. It's the complex cell that composes our bodies is actually formed from the cooperation of smaller, more simple cells or bacteria that came together and that created through cooperation a more complex system, which is the cell that composes all the living beings today, all the complex living systems that are all around us. So what is true for the complex cell is also true for complex ecosystems, and it is also true for human systems and for governance. So these living systems are based on principles which are having a boundary of identity, which is also open to communication and to exchange. The embracing of diversity, building from the bottom up, cultivating cooperative relationships, developing the capacity of self-renewal, being creative, communicating, welcoming feedback, and telling stories with lessons that push our evolution. So, such as the principles for creating life, there are also principles that we are seeing that destroy life. And today, we find that our very identity is being threatened by erasure. The fact that our stories are being deprived of being told. So it is not a surprise that that people who believe that might is right are silencing our storytellers, the people who are witnessing our what is happening within our living spaces. So in 22 April in 2026, a journalist, Amal Khalil, was targeted by the Israeli strikes. And what she was doing was what she's always done in South Lebanon, which was being on site, telling people stories, really talking to villagers, to farmers, to local people, and just verifying and telling their stories to the world. And she was deemed as a dangerous being, and she was targeted along with her fellow journalists. And they even they even obstructed the help from coming to her. They obstructed the rescue. She ended up being a martyr, and that brought a lot of outrage throughout Lebanon, because silencing is just as big of a crime as killing. Another way of destroying life is making your environment unrecognizable and inhabitable. And this is what happened to the Orange House in Mansouri. So the Orange House was founded by Amal Khalil to be a conservation area for marine life. She dedicated her life to be a marine biologist who conserved the biodiversity of the coastal region of Lebanon. She protected sea turtles, and she's someone who had no political affiliation. Yet, even though she was targeted on the 7th of June in her home in Mansouri, and she was dangerously injured, and she ended up dying on the 19th of June of 2026. And that tells you that, I mean, it's the simplest people who are nurturing and who are building our communities are viewed as danger by those who want to destroy this very identity, and they're targeted. Last, I want to end on a note of hope. So I hope for reconciliation, for the possibility of really finding peace, but most of all, on the possibility of telling our stories and learning from our stories in order to evolve and to not repeat history, because we are the ones repeating history. And I do believe that we are at a crossroads at this moment, and we're finding that we have the same oppressors, the same broken system that we need to come together to repair. And we also want the same thing, which is to live in peace and to evolve and to really connect with the essence of who we are, life. So thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. And I so look forward to the working with the Global Green Women's Network again and all the marvelous work that they do. The next speaker is going to be Lucy Mbae. She is a passionate environmentalist, gender secretary at the Green Congress of Kenya since 2016, CEO to Be Well and Green Network, and secretary at Global Greens, with the intensive experience working with organizations that advocate for climate change mitigation, adaptation, and food security. As the founder of the Adopt a Tree initiative, she plays a significant role in simplifying climate change education for young learners and empowering them to develop and share solutions for the climate crisis, which promotes climate awareness, recycling, clean air advocacy, and children and youth engagement in climate spaces. With her strong background in program development and implementation, she coordinates initiatives that bring policy and grassroots actions, where she has actively contributed to global climate discussions. Through her work, she continues advocating for inclusivity and actionable solutions in Kenya and on global platforms. I'm proud to introduce Lucy.
Thank you so much, Jacqui, for that introduction. And thank you, everyone. I bring greetings from Kenya and also from the courageous women across Africa leading the solutions. So thank you so much, Jacqui, for the introduction. So to me and from Africa, more than an environmental issue, it is. So climate justice is a human rights issue. It's also a gender equality issue. and the peace and security issues. So if you look at it, I say we have the human rights, which are also very that I'll be talking about. We also need to look at the gender equality, peace and security, and the environment. We have women stand at the front lines of climate change, and we are the most affected in all these scenarios. I come from Kenya, where I'm a politician. I've stood in, I've vied for positions, and during my course of campaigns and also living there, I've seen these effects of the environmental issues that are affecting us, and they actually speak so much to the call of the people, how much they are being affected. In the human rights, we are seeing people being deprived of the basic needs, the genders, the women, the kids are also very affected. And also, of course, with all this now comes the peace and security of the people, especially when we don't have the environment that is not safe. We find that people are not finding food, the environment is destroyed. And so I mean, we are the first to feel the impacts, of course, of the droughts, the floods, the food insecurity, and then we find people are displaced. Yet we are also the first to organize the communities and protect the families that restore the ecosystems and the resilience. This is describing the African woman. So my other point would be, so, so as women, so women are just not peacekeepers builders, not victims alone and leaders. Across Kenya, the region and women mediate local conflicts, lead conversations, and restore degraded landscapes, promote sustainable agriculture, and also build bridges between divided communities. And in this way, you have seen, like, for example, in women, you find that we are the ones who are mediating the conflicts that come during, for example, during one very good example I'd bring is like the 2017 elections in Kenya. We had post elections uh, problem in Kenya. That is, we had eruptions, we had fights between tribals and within the country because in Kenya we have 42 tribes, so that was really a big problem for us. So we found that the women actually came in so much at the front line to be able to mediate the conflicts in this scenario. Then we find the African woman or the Kenyan woman. We are the ones who do lots of. Not everyone goes to the boardrooms. We also even in the boardrooms. Basically, we are more farmers, and so we are the ones that find ourselves restoring the landscapes, even a simple thing as our kitchen gardens. Like I said also in introduction, Jackie talked about being one of the founders. I founded a tree planting initiative that is called the Dr. Tree, that we actually do it in schools with the women. And I think that's also has been very productive to the women in Kenya. We are the same people who build the bridges like I said, we are mediating, so we bring the between the different tribes and also between our families because when we have all these wars, then we find that this needs to be the women who come in to be able to bring unity among the people. We are also the ones who lead the conversation. Like for example, I'm up here I can see women that I've met in person, and I hope to meet many other. But I believe that women needs to be at to be at the table and be able to make decisions. They can contribute. Let's not have people contribute our feelings, our sufferings, our thoughts. We need to have women who represent us into these conversations so that we can be able to be felt and have discussions and solutions that tailored to the women depending on where we come from. Like I said, in Africa, not just Africa, and also I'm sure in the world, we need to have also sustainable farming for us, everyone. And I've seen, for example, in Africa, of course, we have big farmers, and it's not everyone who is doing big farming. So we have the family farming. So the people who do the basic farming mostly you find there women, because usually you find we have things like coffee farms, we have kitchen gardens, we have coffee. So I found all these things that are women that are doing in Africa. So also the same women are the same people who protect the future. And when I mean the future is look, I mean when I always say, for example, not just being a mom, a politician, I say when you educate a woman, it's like you're educating the whole village or the whole nation because we as mothers, there's that mother, the woman feeling in us that we are able to spread all our love and our knowledge to different people. I'm not saying men are not sensitive, I'm just saying women are more sensitive when it comes to this. So when women are meaningfully included, peace agreements are stronger, communities are more resilient, and the environmental governance improves. So when I look at the green political vision, I also look at the sustainability, justice, and democracy piece. So I look at the gender responsive policy and climate policies must be built to respond to the realities women face by design, not just as an afterthought. It has to be intentional. Like I said, and it has to be intentional as this is done either locally and also internationally. In the UN meetings, even
You are muted, Lucy.
oh God, I've been talking. You didn't hear me.
No, just few seconds.
Just 3 seconds, sorry. Where did you lose me at? Oh no. Can I start again?
Go
Okay.
ahead, Lucy.
Okay, I'll start again. Sorry for that. I don't know what happened.
No, Lucy, just start from the last theme that you were tackling. We heard everything, just the last point.
Yeah, someone muted me actually. Sorry. So which one did you not hear me? Did you hear about sustainability, justice, and democracy piece?
That was a mistake on our end, Lucy. So please pick up where you left off, where we've heard everything up until when you went mute.
Okay, so I'll repeat on the green political vision. That is sustainability, justice, democracy, and peace. And this was talking about gender responsive policy, where I say climate policies must be built to respond to the realities of women face by design and not as an afterthought. And I've said that this is why I say we need to be at the tables. Yeah? We need to be intentional just within our countries, within all bodies in the union system, in our globally in general. We need to be intentional on how we make our policies that and those that affect us. Then I would go to the finance, to the grassroots. This is where I talk about climate finance must reach grassroots, women directly, not only large institutions. And by this I mean is I found like for example the UN system where you find that you only fund the bigger organizations. So all this money does not go straight to the grassroots. So when I mean this is we need to be in a position whereby we are talking the grassroots, whereby to the women in the village in Africa who are being affected by these climate issues, by the climate justice that they need to be funded so that they can be able to come out of this. Then the other one is every woman needs to be at the table, like I said, either young, indigenous, rural, women and women with disabilities must lead, not merely participate. And that's why I keep saying we need to have more women. And I was saying, like, for example, as Greens, I'm a Greens, so I always say Greens and we are Greens here. We need to be intentional, even as we go back, when we are campaigning. And I always say, for example, okay, based now that I'm the secretary, I say of Global Greens, I say we need to be intentional as green parties in the world to be able to support every country, every woman, every man that is vying in our different parts in the world, so that they can be and depends not just we need to be intentional, have more representation in these different levels. Like, for example, I would say in Kenya, we have the members of county governments, we have the governors, and we have also the president. So we would like to have intentional representation and women being at the table so that they can be able to make the decisions. And this can be replicated everywhere in the world so that we can have a stronger movement as Greens. And also, someone actually once told me, some of these things that we go through, and if you look at our principles as Greens in the world, it's all we need as as the world, and we would not be sitting in all these tables, the UN systems, having all these issues within ourselves, the countries. It will be a peaceful world for all of us to live. So, as a finance, I would want to say, want to ask the leaders, that is the governments where we come from, fully implement gender responsive climate policies to all of us, invest directly into women-led climate adaptation and peace building, strengthen women's participation in peace negotiation, environmental governance, protect environmental human rights defenders, especially for women, ensure climate finance is accessible to the local communities. And also when I talk also about the development partners, trust local women-led organizations, the most transformative solutions often begin in the villages, not in the boardrooms. Then to the political leaders, recognize that the climate justice is peace building, and peace building is impossible without women leadership. If you look now, also, I want to bring the African perspective. The African potential and its demand, it's just not, I'd say, it's for demand for justice. So we look at the youth, our youth need to be given justice. Our biodiversity, like just Maria talked about, needs to be done. We need to also look at the renewable energies and also look at the indigenous people knowledge, because this also contributes a lot. If we're able to go back to the history of the indigenous people, some of these things we can be able to sort them. So together, these offer you hope for a just transition. Justice demands shared responsibility, of course. Those historical responsible for climate crisis must fulfill their commitments on climate justice, climate finance, technology transfer, and also loss and damage. Climate justice must be built on fairness, solidarity, and shared responsibilities.
She done?
Okay, there, I'm here. Sorry. So it's just so it is to conclude also now. It is the little things citizens do that is what make the difference. My little thing is planting trees and talking to the people. This is by Wangari Maathai. Let's invest in women. Let's protect peace. Let us restore our planet. When women lead climate action, communities become stronger, conflicts fewer, and peace is possible. Together, let us build a greener, more peaceful, and more just world for the future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Our next speaker is going to be Navia Fahed. She is a Lebanese environmental advocate, civil society leader, and political activist associated with with numerous green NGOs and sustainable initiatives. She is the founder of the Green Wave Lebanon and a political bureau member of the Green Party of Lebanon, actively promoting environmental governance, social justice, women's power, and sustainable development. She is Global Green Woman Representative, Asia Pacific Green Federation Woman Representative, and Deputy Co-Convener, contributing to the international cooperation, women's political leadership, and policy dialogue across regional and global green networks. With extensive involvement in community development, humanitarian action, civic engagement, and environmental advocacy. She works to advance inclusive, resilient, and sustainable solutions for communities. She is committed to strengthening cross-cultural collaboration, advancing gender equality, and supporting responsible leadership at local, regional, and international levels. It's my honor to introduce my dear friend, Navia.
Thank you, dear Jacqui. Thank you for the big effort that you're doing today. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, green friends. Greeting from Lebanon, a country known for its beauty and resilience. Unfortunately today, it's multiple crises. Yet, even in difficult times, the Lebanese people continue to protect nature, support one another, and believe that a greener future is still possible. It is a great honor to be with you today. As a representative of the Green Party of Lebanon, I would like to share not only the challenges we face, but also the hope that continues to inspire us. When people think about Lebanon, they often think of conflict, economic hardship, or political instability. Those realities are true, but there is another story that deserves to be heard, a story of resilience, solidarity, and unwavering commitment to protecting our environment and our communities. Today, Lebanon is experiencing what I call a double crisis, the combined impact of conflict and the climate change. Conflict destroys more than buildings. It damages forests, pollutes our air and water, destroys agricultural land, and threatens biodiversity. At the same time, climate change is bringing hotter summers, increasing water scarcity, more frequent wildfires, and the growing pressure on our food systems. For us, these are not separate crises. They reinforce one another and affect the daily lives of millions of people. Yet, despite these enormous challenges, hope continues to grow. Across Lebanon, volunteers organize beach cleanups, plant trees, restore damaged landscapes, educate young people about sustainability, and support vulnerable communities. Environmental organizations, local municipalities, and countless citizens continue working for a greener future, even when resources are limited. Especially Marie-Therese with her NGO head and the Green Party of Lebanon. One of the greatest sources of hope comes from women. Women in Lebanon are the forefront of climate action and peace building. They support displaced families, strengthen food security, lead environmental initiatives, educate future generations, and build bridges within divided communities. Their work reminds us that environmental leadership is not only about protecting nature, it is also about protecting human dignity, strengthening communities, and creating lasting peace. As a green activist, we all understand that environmental challenges do not stop at national borders. Climate change, pollution, biodiversity loss, and conflict affect us all. This is why international solidarity is so important. Lebanon may be a small country, but our experiences carry lessons for the world. They remind us that environmental justice cannot exist without social justice, that democracy strengthens environmental protection, and that peace is essential for sustainable development. Today, more than ever, we need partnerships that go beyond words. We need to share knowledge, support grassroots initiatives, empower women and young people, and continue building a global movement based on justice, compassion, and hope. I would like to thank you, all of you, for your commitment to green values and for standing with communities around the world that continue working for a better future despite difficult circumstances. Lebanon may be a small country, but it reminds us of universal truth. Protecting the environment is not only about planting trees, it is about protecting people, peace, democracy, and future generations. We cannot separate climate action from a human dignity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Navia. And we think always of you and your country people and what you're going through and hope for your safety.
Thank you, Jacqui.
The next person who will be speaking will be Shireen El Jurdi. She is an international peacebuilding, mediation, security, governance, and disarmament specialist with more than 20 years of experience designing and leading policy dialogue, civil protection, women's peace and security climate, peace and security and gender responsive arms control initiatives across Lebanon and the MENA region and global policy forums. She is the co-founder of Wisely, an initiative dedicated to mediation, negotiation, policy policy and innovations, knowledge, production, parliamentary engagement, and regional partnership to advance WPS, civil protection and disarmament. She serves on the International Board of Control Arms, is a steering committee member of the Arab Feminist Network, a member of the MENA Feminist Task Force of the Women and Gender Constituency, and previously served on the International Board of WILF. Her work bridges international policy frameworks, including the Arms Trade Treaty, the UN Program Action on Small Arms and Light Weapons, the Women's Peace and Security Agenda, and the Climate Peace and Security Agenda, with locally led actions through research, mediation, dialogue, strategic partnership, and parliamentary engagement. She further developed the youth women leadership model by bringing together young women leaders and women from Lebanese, Syrian, and Palestinian communities to strengthen inclusive peace building, mediation, and security governance. Shireen, it's an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, Jacqui. I want to thank everybody in the room for being here. Jacqui, from the bottom of my heart and definitely on part of my colleagues who already expressed their thanks, we are here because we believe not only in the Green Party of the US, but also in what you do personally. Your success, your support for us during our crisis from the very beginning of the Palestinian issue to up to 2023 in Lebanon and up till now, you have been always by our side. First, I want to say thank you to my colleagues. You have drawn the picture very well. The story that has been written by even what Joanna was telling us about the historical perspective of Lebanon. When we're talking about this historical buildings, the monuments, history, we're talking about a country that is not only rich in its own people, but also rich with its resources and with its historical components. I want to bring back a bit of moving away from the silos discussion. And I think this is one of the recommendations we need to have in this room, how we're able to move away from silencing the different discussions, whether we're talking about the women, we're talking about militarization, we're talking about displacement, about humanitarian impact of the conflict, about environmental aspects, about the climate finance. I mean, it's time that we look at it as a holistic approach, because this is how we're being impacted by the war. I'm not a climate expert, but I worked on the climate issue out of the nexus, because I'm an expert on the Women, Peace and Security agenda, but I cannot work on the Women, Peace and Security agenda if I don't link it to militarization, if I don't link it to humanitarian. You cannot talk of humanitarian if you don't talk about the degradation of the environment regarding the implications of the war. This is an all to say that it's not only in Lebanon. Thank you. Most of the panel was talking about Lebanon. I want to talk about that in Gaza, we had almost 61 million metric tons of rubble and debris. Can you imagine the implications of these emissions? In the first 15 months of the war on Gaza, we had 1.9 million metric tons of greenhouse gas. We do not have much of the statistics on Lebanon. Hopefully we will be able to. This is to say, when we talk about militarization, we need to talk about militarization. We need to talk about the resources. We need to talk about the resources that went into the production of these destruction weapons. We need to talk about the emissions of these resources that led to the production of the weapons, and the implications of using these weapons on the land, on the soil, on the water. And this is something that is missing, unfortunately, in the UNFCCC, and is missing in the discussion. So one of the recommendations in this room is how to link the issue of rebuilding, of reconstruction, also with the issue of emission. Marie-Therese mentioned the issue of bombing areas and villages. We have now not only a part of more than 50 villages that are being occupied, we have a plus 60 villages that are being occupied. And when we talk about occupation, we mean we're talking about carpet bombing, we're talking about a complete destruction of infrastructure, about water pumps that are being destroyed. And this is all, it has its own implications on this land in the south of Lebanon, which is now under occupation, which was bombarded the most, as being the food basket of Lebanon, the south, and the Bekaa valleys, who were mostly impacted by the militarization and the use of weapons. One of the recommendations that women had prior to the last ceasefire was how people were able to reach their land to chop the dry grass so that we don't have fires. Even this thing, we were not able to have it as part of the ceasefire. So militarization is a driver of the implications of climate. It's the weapons that are being used, the emissions of these weapons in place, the white phosphorus weapons, in addition to other kinds of weapons that are being used, those that are even creating earthquakes of 2 and 3 degrees of earthquake in Lebanon as part of the bombing and the destruction that the Israeli genocidal power is impacting on Lebanon. Environment is also devastating the land, the water, the air, the lives of the people. The humanitarian impact is also coined with the environmental impact, with the human security pillars, with the lack of food. And all of this, we have women at the heart. Women were a key producer of tobacco in the south of Lebanon, and were part of the major farmers of these areas that we have been working with. I want to say that when I first started to work on climate, it was with the MENA Feminist Task Force, which became the MENA WGC, affiliated with the UNFCCC. And the third target that we had was women in conflict area. Back then, that was just on the day we released this on 7th of October 2023, the same day of 7th of October, but we were not aware that there was the 7th of October on that day. And we had the implications of armament as an issue of climate. We started to work on it, and we started to want to have a peace day in the UNFCCC spaces. We want to have not only peace day, we want to have also a calculation of the emissions of weapons. So in short, what we need and what we want also, we can to have like how to build the bridge among these divides, how to bring away the silos. We want also, we received like this UN Security Council resolution that talks about the weapons that talks about climate and security, but unfortunately it lacks this linkage with the war damage. We need these bridges to be done, and we need to have it as women ourselves. We need to have the linkages and to know, as my colleague now was saying, how to have the indigenous power and the indigenous knowledge into these tables of negotiations, how we have the climate finance, gender sensitive. I will not repeat the recommendations that my colleague said, especially I think what Lucy was having in terms of recommendation. I agree to all the recommendations also from my colleagues. In short, I want to say that we have different spaces, but unfortunately, we have lots of silencing in these spaces. We have lots of silencing in the agenda, the Women, Peace and Security agenda, the Arms Trade Treaty, the Youth, Peace and Security agenda, the SDGs agenda. But what we need is to see like how we holistically work on this. We need to see how these resources are being moved from resources that help in human security to resources that help in destruction. And we need also to understand that these weapons are the major drivers of conflict, of not only of conflict, but also on the implications of the climate. Women were at the heart. My colleague explained this tremendously. I just want to give one example. Out of these 1 million displaced people that we had in Lebanon just in the last war, we had lots of implications because these women lacked the water in the spaces that they were displaced, and they lacked the mere way of life, and they tried through different means to see like how they can better use water within the scarce resources that they have. So this is all to say that collectively, we need to be together as indigenous, as people in conflict, as people also who are sending weapons, not people sending weapons, I mean governments that are sending weapons, how we can work together so that we can alleviate this genocidal acts against the environment and the people within the context of Aswana or MENA. Thank you. I will bring back the talk to you, Jacqueline, and I will be willing to have any kind of Q&A afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Shireen. Because we're on a very tight schedule here, we have got a lot of workshops going on today, and lunch today starts at 11:15, which it almost is now. So I do want to say that because of the passing of 1303, we will now be able to hopefully come back soon to working with the Global Greens. And any of the women that are in this room right now will be eligible to be on the wonderful Global Green Women's Network that I was on, that I met all these wonderful people and work internationally. So this is very, very important. Also, for those people that are in this room, Maria at the end would like to have those that would like their picture taken with her to come up here on the stage, and we're going to get a group picture before we break for lunch. Yeah, we don't have time.
We have 5 minutes for questions in the chat.
That's not enough time. We've got to come up and do this picture here and then get to lunch.
Okay.
So, yeah.
As you're having the picture, Jacqui, I just want to raise one thing. The Lebanese Environment Ministry had a study published in 2026 during the war to an impact of the war in 2024, and it includes ecocide, domicide, and different kinds of urban side. So I would also encourage our colleagues in here to read that study.
Thank you. So that concludes, but if anybody wants to have their picture taken, Marie, please come up here on the stage and we'll do that before we go off to lunch.
Thank you so much
And
to be
thank
here.
everybody, to all my wonderful sisters in Lebanon and in Kenya.
Would you like to join us for a picture together?
Thank you so much, Jacqui, for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Goodbye.
much, Jacqui. Thank you, everyone.
Middle East Focus Group. I managed to get up at 4:00 in the morning.
Thank you, ladies. You're amazing. All of you.
We'd be happy to join you for the International Women Caucus, especially Lebanon. Mr. Sam.
If you want to, as long as you don't block the stage, the flag, if you want to stand in the front, that's okay. I think if they can get it, I don't know. I'd have to ask them.
Greg, should we? We're good. We said we're good.
Okay.
Guys, you're good.
Just get this out of the way. So out of the way.
Other people can be in the front.
Jacqui?
Yeah.
Go back. That everybody's that.
She with this sign, he
Peace sign.
and vaginas.
3 Palestine, 3 Lebanon. Peace. Peace in Lebanon, peace in Palestine. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on. One more. Okay, one more. One more. Can I ask? Can I ask you one?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna click the button. I'm blocking anybody.
Peace. Peace.
Hey, one more.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.